Hi there, this is Kevin with PDXRC Underground, and this is Just Downside It.
I like it, I love it, I hate it, I do it to myself. Every time I want it, I need it, I have it, I waste it.
Okay, this is episode 2 in our Just Downside It series, and pretty excited about this. I was in Cleveland at the U.S. Indoor Carpet Off-Road Championships with Scotty Ernst, and talked to Scotty, said I want to interview him. He said, yeah, we'll do it at some point, probably on Sunday. So he got done with his work on Sunday, went out to dinner, came back, and I told him, I go, let's just forget about it. It's getting kind of late, 10:30 at night. So he said, nope, let's do this. Came in, set it up in my hotel room with a selfie stick. The level's just, the angle of the shoot is just a little low, but whatever. We just started talking, and it's a 3-part series, or 3 parts to this discussion we had. And just some amazing stuff, where he came from, how he got started, where he thinks the industry's going, problems, just an amazing, amazing interview with an amazing person. So I really hope you enjoy my talk with Scotty Ernst. All right, here we are. We're sitting on the couch, me and Scotty Ernst.
Just hanging out, right?
Yeah, we just got done with your race. Why don't you tell people?
Yeah, kind of marathon the last couple weeks, right?
Oh my God.
Had the U.S. on. Jeez, my mind. Sorry, folks. My mind's a little gone. It's been 21 days here.
Yeah, I was going to say you've been here a long time.
Yeah, so we had a big on-road race last week, the U.S. Indoor Champs, which is 43 years of the longest running race in our world of racing. And then we backed that up with the big off-road U.S. Carpet Off-Road Championship that we just finished hours ago.
Yeah. You had a third year.
Yeah.
So the first year, how many entries were there?
We were looking at, I think we had like 70 people here. There was 120, 130 entries, something like that.
And now this year, how many?
This year, I didn't look at the final numbers, but it was over 400. So I think
438.
Something like that. It was pretty.
And you sold out in, what do you say, 7 minutes?
No, I don't know. It was 15, 20 minute, half hour, something like that. I don't know, because I didn't expect it. I mean, I knew it was going to be popular. Everybody had fun last year.
Yeah, the first year.
Yeah, first year. I mean, it was a success, but it wasn't a success in the way you would normally rate success in any type of business.
Right.
I just knew that in my heart that you just have to get people here that first year.
Right.
And they have to try it, because hotel races, you folks never been to a hotel race.
It's the best.
It is
awesome. The best, hands down.
It's awesome, because you don't need to rent a car. You don't need to. You take an Uber for $22 from the airport to here, and you never have to.
Free breakfast.
Yeah.
And we're talking omelets and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not. And then there's also the the free drinks. And,
the happy hour every night, 5:30 to 7.
That works too.
Exactly. So I mean, and this hotel works perfect.
Yeah, it is.
Every room's a suite. So guys on a budget, you can fit 3-4 guys in a room.
Yeah. 2
beds, and this is a pull-out. So you can really, it's really budget oriented. They give us a good rate, and it makes for a perfect place for a race.
This is hands down. I mean. Yeah, I've done a lot of races, but this is hands down. Everybody talks about the best race of the year every year. And it's like, this man is so humble. Like, I remember the last year you sold out in 7 minutes, and you had called me and said, we sold out in 7 minutes. Like, well, you're Scotty Ernst. You're like, oh, Kevin. Oh. Wow. So, yeah, this guy is just an amazing human being. I met your daughter, too. So
yeah, when things got so busy, and I don't know a lot of locals here, so I need some locals to help me with things, and I didn't have all the manpower I needed, so I asked my daughter a couple 3 weeks ago. I said, hey, you want to come to Cleveland and help? And I wasn't expecting a yes by any means, because my youngest has never shown interest in RC.
It's so fun.
My eldest, Sarah Ann, she ran our shop. She's a great racer and everything, but Narissa never, and she absolutely loved it here. She really enjoyed it, and she helped with registration and tires and raffle and T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, she's really sweet girl.
She had a blast.
She had nice things to say about you, too.
Well, that's good, because normally kids don't. I'm just a bad, overprotective father. So.
Well, she did say that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
for sure.
So,
But,
one of the things, the question I have for you is because, like, I don't even know when you started and how you started. I know you owned a track for a while.
yeah, I started when I got out of the Navy in '88. I didn't know RC.
What did you do in the Navy?
I was the official term was interior communication electrician. So I worked on gyro compasses, telephone systems, and then my specialty was the glide slope helicopter landing system. Like in Top Gun, when they're landing on the aircraft carrier and they say, Maverick, call the ball. Well, what that is there's a machine that sends a beam of light out, and as the ship pitches and rolls and things like that, this stays level. And that way, when you're at a distance, this light, they just need to keep it in their vision as they grow closer. So if they go out of the glide slope, then they don't see that light anymore. So they need to keep their even though the ship is pitching and rolling, it stays level, like with the horizon.
Interesting.
So that's how the flight. So we had helicopters on our ship, and that became my specialty. So that was.
See, I learned all sorts of stuff here.
Well, yeah, but it didn't get me anywhere in life. But Navy was the best thing I ever did in my life.
That's cool.
If I was 18 for 3 days and I went to the Navy, if I would rewind, I'd do it all the same way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So I got out of Navy '88. I heard an ad on the radio for the place we eventually bought, Trackside, and I walked in and I tell a story. Bowling was my hobby.
Right.
It didn't matter. Friday night, I was going bowling.
Okay.
Milwaukee was like the bowling capital of the world.
Yeah.
I did it when I wasn't any good at it, but I
Like
loved
me
it.
with RC.
Oh, you do fine. So yeah, when I always bowled when I was a kid with my brother Boomer, and I walked in to Trackside at the time, and I saw this, and I haven't touched a bowling ball since '88. So
Wow.
it was the coolest thing I said. It was dirt oval, so everybody was running converted gold tub RC10s and stuff like that. And man, that was put me on a course in life I never would have guessed.
So how long did you own the track then?
So he was ready to go. He was kind of going out of business in '93. So I bought it in March of '93, and ended up moving it a couple times, and then so a little over 20 years.
Oh,
We
wow.
sold it in 2013. We had, from where I bought it, we moved one place, and then we moved to where it is currently now.
So, okay, so you did that. When did you decide? Was it right away after you left to do events of your own?
No, it was. So I would travel around. I raced a lot of touring car. I raced the Tamiya Championship Series, and then there used to be the big hobby show in Chicago every year.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and that's only an hour and a half. So 1 year at the hour and a half from Milwaukee, where we're from, and they wanted some entertainment in there, like somebody to run a race. So I don't know how they reached out to me, but they did. So I remember taking boards in my little escort station wagon. We drive to Chicago, and then I was great friends with Fred Medell and the gang at Tamiya from when I ran at Tamiya. And we reached out to them and said, hey, can I get a bunch of Mini Coopers? And we're going to have an IROC race.
Oh, very cool.
So me and our gang, we would go down to the hobby show, and we would run an IROC race there. And Gil Losi and Matt Francis and, you know, all the Cliff Lett and all the names from the past that many people don't know, but are the icons of our world. Yeah. So we would go around and we'd run races. So I had everybody wanted to help me,
Right.
you know, for my track. So they'd go around and we'd make up little, not invitation, but just a flyer. Okay, Gil Losi, he races at 210, you know, and they'd go to booth 408 where Losi is. Here you go, Gil. Here's your tea time card. So we'd have races every 15 minutes. And so we ran races there, and that's how I started getting known in the industry, running the races at the hobby show. And then that was in the years when batteries were changing a lot. They were 1,700 milliamp in 2000. This is way before lipos. And it was changing like every 6 months. And it was so much that average racers couldn't keep up because the batteries were changing all the time. So we made a rule for a race, and down there we were handing out flyers. before the internet and everything like that. So I had flyers made up, and I go to the Associated booth, and Mike Reedy is there, and we hand them out. And then I had a race at trackside I called the Midwest Touring Car Championships. And it was just people from Chicago and Michigan, maybe Minnesota. A bunch of guys used to come down from Minnesota. And it was big time fun. Well, I get a call after the hobby show one year, and it's Mike Reedy.
Yeah.
And he says, Scotty, I really like, your rule set that you're doing, limiting the motors to 12 turn, modified, because it was lots of modified back then,
Right.
and the batteries and stuff. And, oh, by the way, I'm going to bring Mark Pavidis and Billy Easton to the race.
Wow.
And
That was kind of...
that's the day that race changed. Novak, always supported. I was very close friends with Bob Novak, still am, but and I was a Novak guy my whole racing life. It was always orange stuff in my car. And Mike came, Billy came, then Tamiya sent Dave John from Tamiya there, and instead of the Midwest Touring Car race, it just exploded to be this big national thing. And then Novak was on board, and they sent us cases of prize to give away, and it just became the Novak race. It's like any brand in any life, you want something to be known by the brand.
Right.
You don't grab a tissue, you grab a Kleenex.
Right.
You get Kodak,
Right.
It was good, all that stuff. And it just became the Novak race. So everybody said, you going to the Novak race? You going much like the Reedy races now. It used to be, and it just exploded. So that was the first when things really changed. And then 2001, I get another phone call after a couple of years of working with Mike Reedy, coming to our races. And hey, Scotty, we have the Reedy Touring Car Race of Champions. We'd like you to come out. Would you be interested in announcing it? And he says, we'll pay you. We'll fly you out here. And I tell the story. I mean, damn, there's Mike Reedy. I'd have done it for free. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
This is like one of the greatest names in our hobby. And that was the beginning of me becoming a paid announcer. Is Mike Reedy did that, and really became the beginning of my friendship with Mike Reedy. A lot of you folks, if you're younger, you don't know who Mike Reedy was. You might know the brand Motors and Batteries, but to guys like me that have been in the hobby a long time, Mike Reedy was one of the greatest guys in our industry. He helped so many young drivers, and my friendship with him grew to I say there was my dad, my grandpa, and then Mike Reedy, influential men in my life.
Right.
He changed my business when him and Mark and Billy came. They put us on a map of we were in the back of a building place, and then it just grew and grew, and then he gave me my first kind of paid gig, and then it was just got me out there.
See, the person for me is Brent Togi.
Yeah.
For me, he's that. Because him coming to my track the first time, to the first J-Con, that's what kind of set it off as, he brought some good racers and stuff, the same sort of thing. And now that's kind of my race.
And it's amazing how something you may seem so trivial or simple can affect one's business tenfold. I mean, for us, it was crazy. We were, there was the California tracks and the Florida tracks and everything, but here we are in the back of a building in Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
right.
And we're putting on this race, and all of a sudden now these superstars are coming. Then when we went to our new location, where it is now, then the race just, there was one year I had, any of you guys that know, we're at the race, know, we have so many people, 4x8 sheets of plywood were, pits. Normally you get two guys per side. I had to put 3 guys per table, 33 inches.
Oh my God.
And it was not very fat guy friendly, because you're just.
And RC races are known for their skinny.
Yes. So the guy still bust my chops about it, because you couldn't go up. You had to go wide. You had to go up with your levels of RC. And so it became so popular, and we go to Novak. I mean, it was a who's who in the touring car world back then. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. So that was Mike was very, very special to me, and in his later years when he started, his Parkinson's really started going. We had some really candid conversations about how much of a struggle it was at some of the races when he was still going to the races. It was just him and I, and like in a hotel room and stuff and everything. It was quite sad. It was, I guess, because it was probably the first older person that I knew that I saw had a disease.
Right.
And I could see in the 15, 20 years that I knew him how it changed him.
Yeah.
So it was, so Mike was, always will be somebody very important in my life, and got me going in. I guess back to your question, how did it start? Because of Mike.
Okay, and we're gonna be right back with part 2. Okay, we're back with part 2.
Hello.
And I was just telling him he has no idea what this means to me. For me to just be sitting here on a couch talking to this icon of our industry, and I know he doesn't think he is, but you are the voice of RC. You know, if nothing else, you are the voice. Every big race, it's your voice. And there's that one video over from US where that was that step down.
Yeah.
And I remember the first, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And what was the thing you told me? You said you had people hating on you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's funny. Once in a while, I'll, like any of us, 2:00 in the morning, you're scrolling through the YouTube or whatever, and it knows what you like and watch, and all of a sudden a video pop up. And the last one I saw was when we were in South Africa World Championship. My good friend Antonio Caroli has built an amazing arena in Welkom, South Africa, and we had I'm getting old, 2018 Worlds.
Not that old.
I think it was. And there was a video popped up. Red RC was there. And I'm scrolling through and watching it, and the comments on it, this announcer is great, or God, I wish that guy would shut up. And it was so funny to see that, because I know I get worked up, and it's not for everybody, but I enjoy the hobby and I enjoy it.
I don't know, man. 2 years ago, hearing you call my name the first time, I was up there just giggling.
I said it like
You
five
said-
different
yeah, you did
ways.
say 5 different
of the-
ways. That's what
of
came
the
to my heart.
week.
My name's hard, but it was just so cool to hear your voice calling my name. It was just really cool. So I don't want to be too fawning over him because he's just an amazing person. So so what was you did the Reedy, or with Mike Reedy, you did that race, the Novak race. So then what was your first big off-road race that you put together?
First big off-road that I put together. We had some when we at our new location where Trackside went to. We had a carpet track in the front and a very small off-road, small in size to what normally is. It was 70 by 40.
Okay.
But that's when short course first was hitting the scene, and it was 2000, I think 10 or 11, and it just came out. And I'm like, man, this is different. This is pretty cool. So then I came up with the idea to have the short course showdown, where when we started racing at Trackside, everything was heads up racing like a main. So even qualifying, everything was like heads up racing. And it really resonated with our customers. Everybody really liked it. All right, we're racing every qualifier, and if you get stuck with car number 8 at the start of the drop, oh, well, that's the way it is. So you're starting 30 feet behind somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody complained or anything like that. It was cool. So I had the idea to do that, and we had our first one back there, and a bunch of the pros came, and then I took it on a national kind of thing and do it at different tracks around the country. It was a big success. And then I won, since touring car was really popular to me, I decided to look at doing a on-road race in Vegas.
Oh, that's when the Vegas thing.
Vegas started. It was before that, but when the Reedy race was the early 2000s, and I really enjoyed, I enjoyed the organizing. I felt there was something missing in big events.
Yeah.
The attention to detail. You go to a big race, and it's a big race, nationals, and a bunch of banners taped on the wall with, duct tape,
Right.
It doesn't look very professional. So we did Vegas in 2005, and the search for that started in, I think, 2003, when I went to Vegas to try to find a hotel that would.
It would delay.
Yeah. And I found a Stardust, and it was probably one of the most special moments of my life, because when we opened the pits, it was in their ballroom, but they had a stage where you could have musical productions, and that was the driver's stand, just standing on the stage
cool.
like an auditorium, and they had the curtains closed, and I had a big 30-foot wide 15-foot tall-ish, 12-foot, I don't remember, banner. But I had to hid behind the curtains. So once we opened it, everybody was in the pits. I got on the microphone, started talking, and we opened the curtain, and there was this big, massive 30-foot banner.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
And everybody clapped and
Yeah.
applauded.
Yeah.
And that's something I'll never forget because that was the beginning of my professional, maybe production side of
Right.
Scotty Ernst and doing that.
Scotty Ernst, the man. The legend, actually.
I
I know, you're so humble.
It's weird. You mentioned that earlier, that the voice and stuff like that, but it's kind of weird because when I travel around, and I'm honored that people enjoy
Right.
what I do for sure, and it's humbling that we can get 400 people in, Thanksgiving weekend to come to, or the weekend after, but when I travel these places and all the people know my voice and everything, and they say, hey, we really, it's a weird feeling in a good way because people enjoy what you do, so that's cool. But it is weird to be known by so many people around the world just for my voice.
And I used to do a lot of speaking with photography, and I'm sure it's the same for you. People come, hey Scotty, and you're like, should I know this?
Yes,
person?
absolutely.
I'm sorry.
It's like, so true
because they know you
Correct.
from your videos or whatever, but they don't, and you're just like, oh, okay. But they have a part of that is cool because it's like they actually have a connection with you,
Yes.
and that's because of you. You're such a humble person. Like I saw you tonight, the kid that was there having his picture taken with it, and you saw that, and I think you said he wanted it for Christmas.
Yeah. So Memphis Duncan, I just met him for the first time here, and his dad told me the story is that all he wanted for Christmas was to come to this race. And when he told me that 2-3 days ago, that was that kind of hit me hard in a good way.
Right.
That here's a young kid who loves the hobby, never been to a big race, and all he wanted to do was come to this race. And I really thought about that a lot. That, wow, that's
It's amazing.
as they say in the old days, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
That he looked up to watch these events and listen to me, and his dad said it's all he wanted, and he worked hard in school. Dad said, we'll do this, but you got to put work in school. And his dad told me, he's like, now that they're here and everything, he's got nothing to hang over Memphis's head anymore. The kid name is Memphis, and a really, really nice kid, very respectful.
Yeah.
It was so nice. So so they were getting a picture in front of the podium after we're done. I was like, I got to go get a picture with this kid because that's a first for me that to do that. So it was inspiring,
really cool.
or it was.
That was a cool moment for me to see. I just came up right as did that. I'm like, that's just so you.
Yeah.
I mean, and right after that, me and Roger were like, hey, we want a picture with you. So we have two grown kids doing the exact same thing. So
Did Roger have a good time?
Oh, Roger's like, we're coming back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he had an awesome time, and he did amazing too.
He did. He started catching break there at
he
the
was
end.
right there.
Yeah,
He was right there.
BT said, "Oh, you tried to make it interesting." I said, "I didn't. You guys." He was catching it.
Yeah, he was like just a little under second the whole race,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
made one little mistake. But yeah, Roger's he's super fast. He's a good dude. He's like one of my closest friends, especially in RC. He's like, he sits right next to me at my shop, so it's like, he's just a good dude, and he wanted to come to this. I talked to him. I said, you got to go to this one.
Well, I'm glad he came. BT's always had, like, Alan Horn has been his, his rival, but BT told me that,
Roger's the dude, yeah.
Roger gave him a run out of your race.
He beat J-Con.
Yeah, he beat him, right?
J-Con, yeah.
So it's the new rivalry maybe for Brent.
40, we have a 40 plus.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with 60 plus? Just saying.
Well,
which, by the way, the only time we raced, you beat me and you waxed me in truck. A couple of years ago.
Yeah,
you
it was a couple
waxed
years
me.
ago. You got a lot more practice.
I had to pull over. I was like, you were behind me. I'm like, just go. You're way faster than me.
I got lucky. Somebody took him out, and I was able to pass him and everything. So
this guy's a good driver too. So
the older we get, the faster we were, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. So we'll be right back with part 3, and then I want to go into the industry stuff.
Okay.
All right, we're back with this should be the final part probably because I know you want to go to bed.
Oh no, we talked about this all week.
All
week about trying to do it. I'm like, he knows there's no time
Dude, there's
during
absolutely no time.
Yeah, so
especially with what happened.
Oh yeah, that was
the power going out.
That was first in my career. So
and it was in my race too.
Yeah, that was funny. So Cliff Note version is the lights started flashing during his first qualifier.
Yeah, first truck.
Yeah. And I've had lights.
And I was on a heater. I was at
he was going to dominate. It would have been game over. I've had lights flicker in hotels and stuff where somebody bumped the switch or something, and it's just, a few seconds. Well, the lights pop, and then I, on all of my various events, I run a UPS backup power supply just to protect ourselves. And all of a sudden, after like 3 or 4 seconds, I hear under the table, beep, beep, beep.
Oh, no.
Like, man, I tell everybody to keep going because if it's only going to be lights for a moment, then we'll play on. So we finished the race, and I was on battery backup, and it all worked out. But I never had the power go out in a hotel.
And then it was like a long day yesterday. We started open at 5.
It was,
and then we went to amazingly, we got done at 10:30 though.
We did. We
doing
did.
2.5 quals.
Everybody. So I would have 138 races I announced, and it was like 17.
I kept waiting for to hear another voice, but you did the whole thing.
Man, I don't. Now I want to. People coming to my event unless I had Charlie Swanka here from Hobby. So a lot of times he'll step in if I have an issue with the hotel or something I have to go deal with. I will do that, but otherwise I try to do it all myself.
He's like, I've learned so much every time I come here listening to him, RD, how to do it because quals are like the worst to call. And you're so positive. You told me what you do. You said if somebody makes a mistake or something, you don't call it out. You wait till they do something good.
Absolutely.
And see, that's not.
Try to inspire him to.
That's not how we do it at our track. It's like, oh my God, he crashed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't.
Club racing ours. So
well, yeah, I mean, but it's different if it's a Wednesday night club racing, and it's your buddy you go out drinking with all the time, and stuff like that. It's different. But on a national event like this, I think it's a cliche, get more flies with sugar and whatever. But we all make mistakes. We all have bad luck. A marshal steps on a car, or you make a mistake and things like that. So I never try to. I'll say, oh my God, something happened to him, but I never try to.
Positive.
I always stay positive. I've been in a place, I know race directors that'll pick on somebody when they make a mistake or spin it one way, and I don't know. My glass in life is always half full, so I always try to take that philosophy when I'm, doing what I do, and people. They're in the RC race family. They're racers, but I still look at them as customers.
Yeah.
They paid a fee to come and participate in our event, and I want to do everything I can to make that experience as positive as possible.
Well, you did. You did amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, it was amazing. So, I want to talk a little bit about kind of the industry, where it's going, some of the things that are going on. Like, one of the things I noticed yesterday during quals, because there's a hockey tournament going on,
mm-hmm.
and there were all these 10 to 12-year-old kids lined up completely in awe.
Oh, just absolutely. And hooting and hollering and
Yeah.
picking the blue car. I got the blue car, you got the yellow car. And
Now, how do we, as an RC community, get those kids away from gaming consoles and into our hobby? Because that is what, it's all old guys like us, but we're getting older and dying off. And, well, we're not dying off, but you know what I mean? It's like, we need new blood, and it's this constant competition with, gaming and stuff. And I don't know how.
I was, I do a lot of races overseas, and I've been, I did a couple races last year over in the UK. And the BRCA, which is the ROAR, the sanctioning body of RC in the UK, they have an amazing program that you talk to people about trying to get it in public view and get hands-on with the public to try our hobby. They got their act together. It's the best. I've been on record, and I've gotten chastised about this comment, but I really feel in heart. I think they are the best sanctioning, organizing body in our world of sport. compared to Roar or EFRA or IFMAR or FEMCA. Those are the different areas around the world that have RC organizations. Ours is Roar. They have massive support from the clubs and tracks. They have their organizing committee. They have it's not a try-me track. It's
late.
Yeah, but anyways, have a go or something like that. So they set up a small little track they get Schumachers, get some Schumacher 12 scale cars with kind of cool looking bodies, and they're fast enough where anybody can drive them.
Right.
And they set up in malls and different things to showcase the hobby. They have a beautiful booklet that they give out. They had it professionally made and printed that they hand out. It talks about the different categories, 12 scale car, off-road car, on-road car, nitro electric, that they hand out. So they're out there shaking hands, kissing babies, boots on the ground, grassroots trying to get out and see. And it's brilliant. It's never done before. And
Are they on-road cars or are they off-road?
Yeah, they're on-road cars. And they just set up a small little, easy up, a 10 by 10 or whatever right outside. They just straight away with just a mellow chicane that people, and they have cars and radios. Kids are lined up, adults too, to have a go at. So they got their act together really, really well. And I think that's a big way of doing it. I do a lot of races overseas, as you know, and racing in Europe, the hobby in Europe is looked at totally different than in America. Here it's toy cars, it's dangerous and troublesome and just all negative. But over in Europe, it's not. It's embraced, and the community support it. And David Ronalfunk, when he won the world championship, in Scandinavia, he's from Sweden, and the year he won the 8-scale buggy world championship, he was put up as voted for like motorsports sportsman of the year.
Wow.
With the Formula One guy
really
and the rally people and everything. He was up for sportsman of the year.
That's amazing.
And that's how things are so different over here. Over here we're looked at, they nothing but. So it's a totally different mentality here in America than it is overseas.
So, okay, saying that, who should lead on that? Should Roar be doing something?
Well,
obviously as individuals, as track owners, I can do it locally in my community, but it just seems like we don't have, I know there's new leadership there, and it seems like they're pretty open to things.
I think Roar is their step one of I say it's a 3-year process. Clayton Young, who's taken over Roar as president, is doing great things.
Yeah.
The train has been broken for years.
Yeah.
It's been a shipwreck. It's been a mess. So he's jumped in and he's trying to right the ship, and it's going to take time. Back in the early years when Roar was really effective, Associated, Losi, Novak, Orion, you pick a company, they all paid money into Roar to be affiliate sponsors,
right.
And there was a war chest of money. A war chest may be too big of a word, but there was money that went in. Our membership, the manufacturers, everybody, the tracks. I used to pay my $100 a year for trackside to do it.
I just finally joined again.
Correct, and I think other tracks are going to start to do that. And I think as they make improvements and get it better, I think the industry will again really start to financially support the organization, Roar, and then I think it has the benefit of growing. I have an odd philosophy. I think Roar should be run as a business, not as a nonprofit, and it needs to be have paid personnel, the president, a secretary, because there's nothing.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. Back when Roar and RC started in the 80s, people worked Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Right.
People work 30 hours a day right now, 8 days a week.
Yeah.
They get home at 7 o'clock. They do not have 2 or 3 hours to put volunteer time anymore like they used to. So I wish there was a way they could do it. I would surely double my membership.
Yeah, me too.
As a track owner or whatever, because the way it's always been for Roar is if you put in for the Nationals, okay, congratulations, you got the Nationals.
Right.
They don't help to solicit sponsorship. They don't help with marketing plan. Like for a Worlds, you have to put out a stage 1 report, stage 2 report, all this information that talks about your venue and airports and everything. They don't do any of that. And I think that should be. They should have 1 or 2 people on staff that has marketing background or whatever, and they do that. I think our manufacturers would pay more. Members, if they felt like they were really getting a benefit for, everybody spends $20 a month on Netflix or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they have no problem spending more than $200 a year just to watch movies. So I think there would be very few that argue to spend $40 or $50 more if they really got a benefit.
Well, yeah, and I come back to regionals. When I started, they were huge.
That was an important part.
And you could not go to nationals.
Right.
If, what was it, you had to be in an A main?
Yeah, you had to be, it was a certain percentage depending on the total entries and everything. But you had to do well at your region. I was in Region 5 in Wisconsin to be able to go to the Nationals.
Yeah, and I just look at now, it's like, anybody can go to nationals.
Right.
And it's like, and I look at like, now JCon series is smaller this year, they're doing dirt and carpet, which I think is good because there's so many races now.
Yeah, a lot of races.
But I look at that and think, what if Roar did something like that, where it was like a series, where the regionals were actually a series race or something, just something to make it more relevant. And then I think people would be, like you said, there's no reason for a person to join right now.
Correct. But I do think they're moving, and there is going to be reason. The other challenge for that is as you know, not every track that's out there is a quality, experienced run facility that can hold at a certain level of standards. You've had national races. I've held national races, so we know what is expected at a certain level.
Right.
And not all tracks are doing that. And, for Roar to send somebody to each region, that's not realistic to be able to do it. Granted, there's region directors, but, then you're asking them to. So there's a lot of cogs in the mechanism to make it go. But yeah, back in the day, you had to do regionals. That was your, ticket to go to the nationals. Is it fixable? I think so, but it's going to take some time.
Coming back to the getting people into this hobby, because Roger and I talk about this all the time. Once people are in, they're in.
Oh yeah.
It's like, and we both agree, and I think you do too, it's like literally one of the coolest hobbies.
Oh, there's no doubt.
It teaches so much. It teaches you sportsmanship. It teaches you about, just race etiquette, how cars work, how electronics are. Cars our big cars are becoming electric, and it's the same technology. And getting people in, and for me as a track and store owner, it's a pro shop, but still, I've been harping on Associated specifically to bring, because they have their ready to run that's rear motor, but for carpet there's nothing. There's no mid motor. And if I had a car, let's say $350, $400, that a person could come in and go, this is really cool. Well, for $400 you're racing. I would sell so many of those and then get them in the hobby and go, but it just doesn't seem like none of the manufacturers want to do that. And to me, it seems like it would be a huge market, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. I just own a track.
I don't think you're wrong in any means. I mean, to be able to get people in something interesting and exciting for them to do is obviously the key. I go back to my years at the hobby shop, especially during the holidays. It was always the price point shock of, oh my God, look at that. And I would always I had the same kind of sales pitch to people when they look at, $300 for this or whatever. I says, well, do your kids have a Nintendo or a PlayStation?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they play the games for $59. They play them for 2 weeks and then they're done. And it's like, oh, yeah, I guess. I said, now here. And my daughter worked in the hobby shop, and it was really an asset to have her there because it's not a women's.
Yeah, that's another thing, a growth market.
Yeah, it's not. It's a male-dominated hobby and sport. So when my daughter was there, sadly, we had more than a few times people come in, and she manages the shop, and they would say, is there a guy here that can help me?
Wow.
And she handled it really well. She she knows they were just ignorant and didn't, you know, and that me saying ignorant is a respectful way of saying they're just not educated enough to know that, you know, a woman can do this.
Yeah.
And then once you're in a hobby shop and somebody comes in with something broke and they watch my daughter, you know, tear the diff apart and do this and everything, like, well, maybe she can help us, you know? So I think getting something at a good price point is cool. The other thing we battle so much, and you say, you know, games and stuff, it's the instant satisfaction.
Yeah, totally.
They hit reset when they crash.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we were kids, we rode our bikes. We fixed our flat tires. We got grease on our hands, and we got our chains off and everything. And kids don't know what tools are these days.
That's true.
There was a survey back when I owned a shop. There was a survey of, you know, high school kids, how many of them have swung a hammer and knew what a Phillips was and all that, and it was staggering the amount of kids that
It's
don't
even
know.
worse now.
Oh, you're right, exactly. You know, but I know my daughter could change her if she got in a body, she could change her tire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she worked on RC cars, she knows about gears and all those things, and that's the part of the things that is so valuable. And I've spoken to many, like a community, when you go and somebody's putting in for an event and you got to talk to the mayor and the council and everything like that. And I've spoken to many through my years, and the thing that sells them all the time is when they go to that thing about gears and holding tools and working with their hands. That is a lost art in today's age. Now it's all computers and everything, and no matter how advanced the world's going to be, you're still going to need to have some tools. Yeah. So it's you know, there's many questions on how to get more people in and things like that, but I don't know if it's just the way society's gone, is that everybody's instant, and I don't know, it's for sure the greatest challenge we have in our hobby is to find a way to grow it.
Okay, so the last issue I want to get into, or last thing I want to talk about,
should I be nervous?
Well, it's a hot button issue.
Oh boy.
Anytime you talk about this, people get upset, so they might be saying stuff on here.
Okay.
Stock racing.
Hey, thank you and good night.
Yeah. There were a couple of guys here that were running, amazing drivers, but they would have been in the top 5 in mod with their times.
Sure.
There just doesn't seem to be, like when you and I started, it was 27 turn, I think it was, and then mod. There was a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And now it's, watching them on the track, it's like almost impossible to tell which is stock and which is mod.
Right.
And I was talking downstairs with a bunch of guys earlier tonight, and personally, I don't think it's so much, you know, unless we change the motors, you know, go to like a 25 turn, but I can't see that happening in the street. It seems to me like it's the batteries. What we're allowing the batteries to be, how big they are, how you charge them. That to me seems like where it's coming from, but I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
I'm a big advocate of finding a way, and it's how I feel. It means it's not realistic.
Yeah, the genie's out of the bag, out of the bottle.
We get rid of LiPo batteries. I think if we went to Lifey batteries or something like that are far safer, they don't produce as much power, which is the problem, because people, what do they go to the hobby shop? How much it costs and how fast does it go?
Yeah.
So everybody wants to go fast. But they're so dangerous, and now racers are racers. They push them to the limit.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, we didn't have any problems.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, that's a big thing, and their cars are so fast now. Well, Matty G ran a 13 turn modified, you know, and he was just, you know,
He buffed up to the 8.
Yeah, because I mean, well, he's
Super,
super
yeah.
mad skills and everything, but the stock motors are so fast, the technology is so good, and the mod cars are so fast that it's so hard to really use everything you have. And if we look at our track that we had here, which is relatively small, you know, smaller
The
carpet
same
track.
size as mine. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
100 by a little smaller, 150. You know, there's only so much you can do.
Right.
And for us, we have 48 hours to turn it from an on-road track to a fun, challenging
Yeah.
off-road. So it's not like we have weeks to plan jumps and everything.
Right.
Walt and Jody and Scott and the guys that were working on, they worked all day Monday, all day Tuesday to try to do it. 'Cause some people were saying, "Oh, the track looks so easy." I have no clue. We don't have the research.
Dude, that was. It looked easy. That was an easy track. There was a lot of places.
There was a lot of
mistakes
challenge. So the stock thing is tough. The cars are so fast. There's so many talented drivers. There's so many. Everybody's sponsored these days.
Yeah.
We have no talented stock guys moving up to modified like it was in the older days.
Missing.
There's no incentive for them to go from stock to mod. You look at some of the top stock guys in the last year. Matty G, who I mentioned, he was a dominant stock racer, and now he's moved up, start running mod.
Right.
Brendan Schimmel,
Yeah.
TLR driver, he ran stock many years, Pinnacle, won everything in stock, and then he said, was at the end of, what are we, 23 now? So the end of whatever year it was, he said, I'm going to run it till this year, and then I'm running modified. And he went out and he got his butt whooped in modified for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever. But he stayed at it, and now he's running with Cavalieri, and he's running with, Aiden Horn, and he's running, with the fastest. Now he's one of the fast guys. So I wish some of the other top stock guys, would do that. I mentioned it to Doug, he was at a race, and I said, hey, I want to see these young guys move up to modified.
Right.
Because who is the next Dakota Fenn? Where's the next Ryan Mayfield? The Ryan Cavalieris?
Yeah.
There's not a pool of them. There's a few.
Right.
But there's not the pool like it used to be. When there was there was 30 guys that were at the same level.
Right.
When it was Cavalieri and Francis and Kinwald and all those guys that could do it. And we don't have that pool because a lot of the stock guys, let's be honest, they're incented to stay in stock and win.
Yeah, because there's money.
Because they're the companies that are sponsoring it. So is that wrong of them? That's for argue.
Right.
Is it bad for the guys to try to make money and run stock? That's arguable also. You know what I mean?
You look at your race here. How many in stock? And then you had
in the pro stock we had 75.
And then in stock.
In stock, I think we had 40 some.
Yeah,
and
so
that's for the unsponsored.
Yeah, so it's over 100.
Yeah.
So that it's. Don't get me wrong. I love stock because everybody thinks I hate stock.
Oh, do they? Why?
Oh, 'cause I'm always complaining about it because the people that don't move up. It's frustrating for me as a track owner. It clogs my system. It was always like, you won some stock race, you moved to mod, and then the next people could come up and they had a chance of winning stock.
That's the way it used to be.
What
Right?
happens now is the guys stay in stock, and then the other guys get frustrated, and then they quit. And obviously you don't want to have a class for everybody, but what I ended up doing was I did a sportsman at my thing, and I made the rule I decide who's in sportsman. That's the only rule. And I watch, and when somebody's starting to get their speed up, then I move them in pro stock. And it's a progression, but still the same guys will stay in pro stock. They will not move to mod. And I don't feel like I can force them.
Sure.
So a couple of guys have now moved up, and guess what? They're like as fast as Roger, a couple of them.
We're having a problem in the on-road world, especially at the race we just had last week, is if we rewind to my second to last Vegas race, so it was 2017 maybe. So we had 17.5, 13.5, and mod. There was stock, super stock, and modified. Well, 13.5 just became too fast.
Okay.
So then I decided that 17.5 was going to become the new super stock, and then we do 21.5. And I thought that would work, but then all the manufacturers and everything had all their top factory guys move down to the 21.5 class. So now we're back in that position now. Regionally around here, 25.5 turn motors have become very popular.
Right.
And we have it where extremely ability guys are moving down to the 25.5 class. And I have argued with everybody that was there that, okay, we're just going to go in the same cycle unless we stop this. And we have no class for new people to come in.
That's the biggest problem.
If the top stock guys, and we had a case, there were guys that would have run at the top of 21.5 here in that 25.5 class. And there has to be a way for new people to come in to be competitive. And you can say it's wrong, like you said, we don't want a class for but society has changed.
Yeah.
If we want people coming in here, we have to go with the mentality that is society, and there has to be a class that people can go participate and be a winner, or they're going to try it and they're going to leave.
Yeah. Because it does suck if you're in, obviously in mod, when I'm with the really fast guys, I end up pulling over a lot. But the reality is, if you're in a class like you're a once a week racer and you come in, and every time you come in, you have to pull over 3-4 times because some guy hasn't moved up to mod, that their skill set is mod.
Right.
It's frustrating. Then I would quit too. I'd be like, this sucks. I can't even compete. So,
Right.
Now we've talked once before about this, how Europe does it. It's like they have 4-wheel and 2-wheel, correct?
Oh yeah. We have for our EOS series and stuff like that. You show up races 2-wheel and 4-wheel. That's it, modified. I just ran a big event there, the UK Showdown race that I had in the UK, and we added masters class, some other classes, but they said, Scotty, do you want to run a stock class like in America? I'm like, no, because it just won't work. We tried it in the EOS. We'll get maybe a heat of, and then it's 13.5 or 10.5 for 4-wheel drive, so it's really not stock. But
how do they do that then? You just break down, is it A, B, C, D, E heats? Or how does that work? Like for mains, do you call them different things? Or?
No, it's still the same.
Okay.
But like when you go to a weekend race meeting in Europe and it's 2-wheel and 4-wheel, they'll run 2-wheel, show up Friday, so practice, 2-wheel, practice, so you get like 4 rounds of 2-wheel practice, then you go into 2-wheel qualifying, then you go into 2-wheel mains.
Huh.
So you start Friday morning, and by Saturday at noon, you're done with the 2-wheel program. You ran your practice, you ran your qualifiers, and you run your mains. So then you're done at 1 o'clock on Saturday, put your 2-wheel car away, 4-wheel drive. Now at 4-wheel at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're in practice, qualifying, Sunday morning qualifiers, Sunday afternoon mains.
Do you think that would work here in the U.S.?
No.
Okay, why is that?
Because we have so many classes.
Okay.
We had 65 stadium trucks here.
I know, that was amazing.
Trucks over there dead. Nobody did, there. But here it's big,
There's a big at this race. I mean,
Yeah.
It started to grow a little bit at my track, but I literally built this truck because I saw how many trucks. I'm like, that'll be fun to see.
It was staggering to see.
Yeah.
And what did we have? 9 heats. We had an H main or I main or something like that. It was great.
Yeah.
And just one class, 13.5 motors. And it worked out well, and none of the pros entered it.
Right.
So that was good.
Yeah.
Some of the guys said, hey, Scotty, next year are you going to do a mod class and a 13.5? And I don't want to do that.
No, just keep it one.
Yeah, because then the pros will have to run that class or whatever.
Right.
But right now, there were no...
I mean, Joey's national champion, but...
Yeah, but he's national champion. He's, he's not like Cavalieri or Dakota Fend or, those kind of guys. And it worked. We had a very competitive class that numerous guys had a chance of winning. Jovi, of course, he's got mad skills and he's, he's good at it. So, but...
Which, by the way, gave me some really good perspective today.
What did
Or
Jovi?
yesterday, yeah. I was like, I'm in the B main. He's like, where'd you qualify? I go 10th. He goes, you know what? If you were at Roar Nats, you'd be in the A main. I'm like, it is. It's all about perspective.
No, you're right. Yeah, exactly.
So, I think that's kind of all the hot button issues I wanted to talk about. See, that wasn't so bad.
No, I'm not. Just 2 old guys sitting on the couch.
This is kind of awesome.
At midnight or whatever.
Midnight is supposed to be 11. I think it's 11, something like that.
I'm burned. I mean, yesterday was, 17-hour day of announcing or whatever. So
when do you go home?
Tomorrow morning. So
okay,
yeah,
cool.
So
well, I appreciate you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a pleasure.
You're an amazing human being, and I just enjoy just any time. I only get to see him like once a year. I'm just kind of bummed about that. So hopefully you get to come to my track at some point.
We talked about it. Of
if you ever want to RD,
Oh, I know the October.
Which, by the way, the October race, he was supposed to come, and then he just blew me off totally for an EOS race in England.
That's not fair.
I know. No. He taught. Okay, this is how nice he is. You had how long do you want to do EOS in England?
Oh yeah, we tried for a long time. Yeah.
And he called me up. He's like, Kevin, something happened, and they're doing EOS on the same weekend. But there's no way. I said I'd do your race. I'm doing your race. I'm like, I can't have you do that. And you actually argued with me. I think I told you were fired or something like that.
Yeah.
We never mind. I fired you. I don't want you
Yeah.
here. So he's just such a nice person. It's like
bad.
no.
But no, it's this year has been madness for me getting back at it. I mean,
How many events do you do a year? No.
I haven't counted, but I bet you I did at least 30 events this
Oh my
year.
God.
The pandemic, I'll be honest, was devastating for me.
Yeah.
You know, financially, but just because
Everything's
I never thought I'd lose my job doing what I do. You know, I have no skills. The only thing I can do is be a greeter at Walmart. Welcome to Walmart. You know, that's all I got. So
do something more than that.
I don't know. It's something on radio because I got a perfect face for radio. So, so now that things were back up, all the events I used to do before the pandemic are running again. So they, asking me to come back and do it, and then I started a couple new series that I were doing, and so I kind of this year and next year I'm just trying to get caught up from where we are. And my good friend Tyler Hooks, who I've worked on Live RC, he gave me a saying when he came out of the pandemic. We were doing out at the Dirt for the Dirt Nitro Challenge. Your slogan is like, if you're paying, I'm saying. So that's
that's me on a t-shirt.
Yeah, that should be.
So, well, I got to tell you, it was just amazing this weekend again. I'll be back next year.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I'm sure Roger's going to too. So
that's the ultimate goal.
Hopefully bring more people along this time. So, you guys, if you get a chance to do this race, it is hands down the best race. I'm on the second floor. Get out of the elevator. It's about 20 steps to the ballroom, and get to hear his dulcet tones. So, thank you again for everything you do. Thanks for doing this. I know it was like late night here. I'm like, hey, let's just do it in my room. I actually yelled out in the hallway, hey, let's just do it on my couch. And I'm like, oh, that didn't come out very well.
Yeah, depending who's listening. But it's a cool thing here going on with this.
Yeah,
and everything.
Just
talking off the cup ideas and hot buttons and things and issues that you want to talk about. It's cool. I've enjoyed
see where it goes.
Yeah,
so.
That's it. Thanks again. Right. Thanks for asking me to be on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Scotty.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, hanging out and talking with Scotty. Just a great person. He's an icon in the industry, even though he doesn't think he is, but he is. And I hope you enjoyed that. So we'll be back with episode 3 soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
I have it, I wasted. Oh.